Well, hello, my friend. My name is Joe Bakhmutsky. I am the founder of Power to Be Happy and also the author of Finding Hope in Times of Uncertainty, a guide to thriving in the challenging world of today. And I truly believe that we all have this power to be happy, to seek greater clarity in life that just makes you feel like you're more alive. To do at our best every single day so that you feel like you're enough, and ultimately to keep up hope that no matter how tough and crazy life gets, that things can and do change for the better. And so I want to champion you today because I know times are tough. And you might really be going through a difficult time. And you might not feel up to it. You might not feel up to things that are happening around you. And you've got a lot going on. You've got a lot to deal with. I'm here for you. I understand what it's like, my friend. We have to deal with this constant uncertainty. We have to deal with just stress and pressures of day-to-day life. And sometimes you just don't have the motivation to go out and do things, even when it comes to things that you love, even when it comes to people that you care about, because you just can't bring yourself to do it. It's just, it doesn't feel right. You feel exhausted. You don't have the emotional and the mental energy to go out and do it. And yet, my friend, there's a part of you where you feel like you deserve more from life. You feel that there should be more out there. You feel like something's gotta be different, that it shouldn't be this way. And if you do feel that, if you have that sense deep inside of you that this isn't right, that something's got to change, then you're already on the way to win. And that is why I'm here to celebrate you, because I think that is why you begin to change, is by acknowledging that something isn't right. And you want to change that. And there's a lot of things in the world that we can't influence. But there are things within us and how we get around in the world, that is something that we can influence. That is something that we can change. And if you feel stuck, if you feel demotivated, if you can feel that you're too tired to care, frankly speaking, and you feel like you're just not up to things, it's a sign that you're falling into patterns that are no longer serving you. Right? Because isn't it true that in life we all kind of follow patterns, right? It's kind of a combination of habits. It's a combination of just schedule, and you get into that, and circumstances change, and you end up in situations that and patterns that are no longer pulling you forward, but instead they're holding you back, right? So it's all about recognizing that some of those patterns, some of those habits that you might have, that might not be working for you. And I really would urge you to right now to take a moment and to think about what are some of the things that you might be doing in your day-to-day, or maybe during your kind of work week, or maybe on the weekend, that you feel like you've been doing maybe all over, over and over again, and maybe it's starting to drag. Maybe you do it out of habit, or maybe you do it out of guilt, or maybe there's other things at play that they're not really about you, and maybe it's just circumstances and how things have come about. But what is really out there that might be a part of your life that you feel that you might either do without, or that you might be able to scale down and pull back your efforts and your time and your energy and change it a little bit. Like, what is that for you? Like, what is something that you could, you could look at in your life and say, well, you know what? If I spend less time doing this, or if I spend, more time with this person, but doing something different, I think I'm going to feel better. That's super important to just really take a moment to consider. For me, one of the things that I realized is I, this is going through all of lockdowns and changes with the pandemic. And while, I love catching up with friends and it's hugely important to me, but I also realized that I wasn't spending enough time on my own, like working through my ideas and kind of and writing, because I was just like I was constantly with the family, or we were catching up with someone, we had some sort of plans, and getting into my own headspace has really been a game changer for me. I just felt so much better. I felt alive. I felt like I could dream again. I could make plans. I could like be creative in my own weird way, right? So that's what you want for yourself, my friend, right? So what are the things that you could potentially pull back on, that you could instead bring something in that you could enjoy more, that would give you that sense of being something different, something that might reinvigorate you, right? And that's changing your habits and changing how you feel. It often starts with us going, I want to change what I'm doing, and that's going to make me feel different. And that's kind of true. But I do think it's important to start with a feeling. Start with one feeling that you really feel like you want to have in your life right now. Because when you know what that feeling is that you're going to go after, it's just going to dictate what are going to be some of the changes that you might make in your life to experience it more, right? Because we don't give enough credit to our past. We don't give enough credit to the things that you've already done and the things that you've lived through. Because listen, you've been around for a little while and you know what's good for you. You know what's right for you. You know what you enjoy. So you know what makes you feel good. And you also know deep inside that feeling that you need to experience right now. This might be, like for me, it's being in the moment. Because that's the time when I feel alive. I feel like I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just focused on what I'm doing, and whether that's playing with my son or whether that's working on my book, whatever that is. I'm totally focused. I'm totally in it. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying life. And that takes me away from worry, that takes me away from stress, that takes me away from the craziness that's going on around us. That's why I gotta ask, what is that for you? What is the feeling that you want to have, and how would you describe it in a way that is meaningful to you, in a way that really kind of makes sense to you and your way of life? What is that? I want you to know what that feeling is. And just come up with the way that you'd call it, whether that's alive, whether that's excited, whether that's invigorated, whether that's on top of the world, whether that's calm, whether that's connected. What is that for you, right? Because when you know that feeling, then you can think about what are going to be some of the changes that you're going to make to put that into play. And that really comes down to three things. So I hope you have a sense of what that feeling might be for you, my friend. And now let's talk about specifically what are some of the changes that you can make happen to support this feeling, to bring this feeling out into the world, to bring it back, to just experience it so much more. Because listen, even if you can do something that you can claw back and make you feel like that, just like 5% more, that's a win. because then you can just little by little experience it a little bit more and a little bit more until it becomes a part of your life again, until it becomes a part of life where you feel so much better about yourself, about the world around you. You're able to do things that you enjoy, and the things that give you just pleasure, and the things that you love doing yourself, right? That's what it's all about. So hope you know that feeling. 3 things that go a long way to making it happen that I'd love for you to consider. The first one is in making you feel a certain way, the way that you want to feel, is new experiences. Because that is really such a crucial part of our life. What are some of the, experiences, new things that you could do or try or consider that would make you like feel good about yourself, that you maybe could try on, right? Because new experiences is what really shakes you out of your routines. New experiences makes you kind of look at life in a different way. It makes you kind of switch a perspective, right? So it really engages your senses, and you really start to feel differently. And sometimes, you might even try something new, and even if you didn't enjoy it, even if it wasn't your thing, it still becomes something that adds a new quality to your life. A new quality because you're just in it and you're enjoying it, and or maybe you're not enjoying it, but at least you're trying something. You feel engaged and you feel like you're moving forward. So what are some of the new experiences that you could bring into your life that might make you closer to the feeling that you want to have? What are some of the things that you could try? Whether they are with different people, whether it's kind of an activity of some kind. Maybe it's joining a class on something like in person or virtual. Maybe it's something that you really wanted to get into, maybe a hobby of some kind, or some kind of a passion that you want to kind of explore or grow into, and it could be maybe you always wanted to try photography. Maybe you always wanted to learn how to swim. Maybe you always wanted to write your life story. Maybe you always wanted to learn how to cook Asian food. I don't know what that is for you, but what it could be something that you try and be different. What could be a new experience? Could you go to a new restaurant? Could you sign up to a cooking class? Could you get out a cookbook and make a new dish every single week? Like, what is that for you? What could be a new experience that you could try to get around that passion or interest, or something you could just give a try? So it doesn't have to be something you take on for life, but something you could just consider and explore and give it a go. New experiences, make you feel a different way and just engage your senses in such a vibrant, different way that I urge you, my friend, just give it a try. Give something a try. Decide, this week, I'm going to try this, and give it a go. Even if it doesn't work out, you'll be able to say to yourself, I've done something different that changes things up. So that's number one. Number one, that can bring you closer to the feeling that you want to have, new experiences. Second, new people, right? Because part of the way we don't feel necessarily motivated or stuck, because you might be talking to the same people all the time. And sometimes that's great, because they might be great people and you love them and you want to be around them. But we all can benefit from a different type of energy. We all can benefit from a different perspective. We can all benefit from just you're vibing off another person, right? That's such a big deal, right? I know that sometimes you don't even feel like that because it feels like it's a lot of effort. But the thing is, when you can experience that a little bit more and you can explore and you can talk to someone you haven't spoken to before and be around people that you haven't been around with, again, you start to experience life in a different way. And when you put yourself in a situation where you meet new people or you get around other people you haven't been to before, you're gonna make different connections. It will prompt you towards different conversations. You're gonna start to think differently, and you're gonna start to feel differently too. So what can you do? What can you do in your life that will put you in touch with different people? Maybe they are already part of your community. Maybe it could be around, something that, again, like we talked about, something to do with new experiences. Maybe you could, go volunteer. Maybe you could, join a club of some kind. What could it be that you do that puts you in front of people where you would have to engage with them, right? Maybe it's a club of some kind. Maybe it's something that you find online about an area of some kind of something that helps you grow, right? Something that you want to get interested in, something that you might enjoy. What is the way that you could get around new people? Maybe one person, maybe it's something in your neighborhood. What is that for you? Just give it a go. Because again, that exposes you to different emotions, that exposes you to different perspectives, and that's bound to change the way that you feel. You're going to be reacting to things in such a new way that it's bound to make you feel more refreshed, more excited, right? Even if, not all of it might be perfect and not all of it might be exactly the people that you want to stay with, friends with for life, for example, but it will still be a novel experience, which it's all about. And ultimately, the third thing is new ideas. New ideas when we come up, when we use our creativity, in whatever way that is for you. When you come up with new ideas, that is the time when you feel most excited. Isn't it true? When you look back on your life, when you look back on things that you've done and things that, that where you felt you were the most yourself, that you are the most creative. It was the time when you had new ideas, new ways of looking at things, new ideas about how things should be, whether that's how to renovate your kitchen, whether it's a new idea that might work in your career, right? Whatever that is, but that new idea of maybe trying something in your family life, whatever that is for you, right? That those new ideas, those things that just kind of just spark curiosity and that make you kind of dream and make you plan around things and make you try to get people excited about or make you just lose yourself in. How cool is that? And this idea, this part about new ideas, even if you don't consider yourself creative, even if you don't consider yourself wanting to do that, this comes from just staying true to yourself and in some ways reflecting on your experience. I don't know if you've ever tried journaling or keeping a diary and using that not kind of as a checklist, for things that you're about to do today, but more about reflection on, asking yourself questions about and writing stuff without censoring yourself or without kind of trying to come up with the right way to say it. But just being in that reflective mode when you can ask yourself questions like, you can pull out a diary and start writing and go, well, what have I learned in the past year? Like, why do I feel the way that I do? Like, what are some of the things that I could enjoy doing? What are some of the new experiences I could try out? It could be fun, right? And then you just start writing. And you'll be surprised. I promise you this, my friend. You're going to be surprised by what comes out of your head, right? Because there's all these things that are floating in there. And that's when you start to express yourself, that leads you more to have new ideas, to have new thoughts, to kind of change the way you've been thinking and just throw things out so it goes into a different direction. That's going to be so key, my friend, to consider that. And ultimately, when you can string all of that together and you're doing new experiences, you consistently just trying something new. Doesn't have to be huge, doesn't have to be every single day, doesn't have to be some epic change, but when you're making changes, when you have new experiences, when you meet new people, when you have new ideas that you are coming up with and you're reflecting on your experiences, it just makes you feel in a different way. I want you to know, my friend, no matter how crazy things get, you have all the answers already inside of you. So it's just a matter of bringing them out, trying new things, asking the right questions, and I promise you, it can bring you closer to the feeling that you want to have, whatever that is for you. But ultimately, the feeling that you feel good about yourself and the world around you. My name is Joe Bakhmutsky. Thank you so much for being here. If you're looking for more ideas to lead a happier, more fulfilled life, then I urge you to check out my book, Finding Hope in Times of Uncertainty, a guide to thriving in a challenging world of today. It's filled with practical, real-world advice on how to find hope in a challenging time, how to build hope towards hopes and dreams and ambitions that you might have, and also, ultimately, how to share hope, which is how do you give hope to others, people that you care about the most. If you want to check that out, then please go to awayfromuncertainty.com. There's a video. I also give you a cool exercise that will help you to get on top of worry and stress, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the book. But ultimately, if you go to awayfromuncertainty.com, I think that might serve you. Check it out. My name is Joe Bakhmutsky. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you soon.